Dallas Mavericks today coming at you here on a Wednesday. Harrison Graham, Jeffrey Cooperstein, and Coop. A potential new backup point guard option has emerged on the open market as the Spurs are waiving Cam Payne, a guy who has played quite a bit for the Phoenix Suns the past couple of years. Could he be an option for Dallas? We're going to explore that in just a moment. But, Coop, I want you to answer this question first. Favorite pizza spot in Dallas, and then MFFL as you guys chime in as well.
My favorite pizza in DFW is E. Fratelli. I absolutely love their delivery pizza. It's so good. I get it probably once every couple weeks. It is amazing.
I've never had E. Fratelli, which
so good.
is probably a crime. This one I've started recently, and now I feel bad because I can't think of the name of it. It's on Lower Greenville, and no, it's not
Gapco.
I love Gapco.
Gapco's good.
I love Gapco, but that's not the one I'm talking about. It's something Tavern. It's like Italian-style pizza.
Eno's?
I don't think it's Eno's. I'm going to have to talk to my wife about this later, but I've really been on that pizza recently, and I'm a Zalat guy, too. I know
Zalat's
people in
good.
the office aren't a fan, the haters and losers, of which there always are so many.
There are many.
But let us know. Plenty of good pizza options here in the DF Dub. Okay, Coop, let's get to some hoops here. Cam Payne. What's interesting, Coop, is this time last year, this would have been a no-brainer,
Absolutely.
right? Because we said it all offseason. Backup point guard, backup point guard, backup point guard. And he was kind of considered a bust early in his career, but then found his footing in Phoenix the past couple of years, especially a few years ago, and has kind of found his way as a backup point guard in this league.
So when I first mentioned the name to you, I saw Cam Payne got waived. Should the Mavs sign him? I was like, yeah, I kind of have interest in it. I mean, if you take a look at what he's done over his career, he was the 14th overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft, more so known early in his career as Russell Westbrook's dancing buddy before the games.
Yeah,
they would always do those crazy dances and whatnot, but he established himself as a solid backup point guard, especially over the last 2 seasons with Phoenix. He was on the finals team that made the finals against the Bucks, and he was a big part in that as well.
Yeah, and look, like, when you kind of think about the Mavericks rotation, yes, obviously Luka and Kyrie are going to stagger, and some are going to play point with the other on the bench, obviously. That's going to eat up a lot of minutes, but you don't have that true come-off-the-bench point guard unless Dallas thinks Jaden Hardy is going to be that. I view Jaden Hardy more as a combo guard. He's not really a conductor of the offense. They tried to have him do that in Summer League, obviously, because that's an area where they hope he can improve. But overall, they don't have just kind of a floor general for that second unit, and ideally, Cam Payne could fit the bill there as he's averaged over 4.5 assists in each of the past 2 seasons. Coop.
Yeah, and I really like Payne just because they simply need a guy who's going to play point guard, because we know for a fact that Luka and Kyrie are going to miss games. That's just going to happen, and the Mavs need someone that can fill those minutes, especially when those guys miss. Now, obviously, with the new year, with the new rule, that now says that you can't rest 2 stars, you'll probably have at least Luka and Kyrie available for one of the games, and we'll explore some of that there later. But having a guy who's been there and done that in the playoffs is pretty important, especially for a Mavs team that's looking to get back to the playoffs.
Yeah, and look, like, you still want that third guy who can handle the ball. Like, again, I think they're gonna have him do some of that, but I think when Jaden Hardy's in the game, the goal for him is to score the basketball, right?
No doubt.
Like, that's his role. Be a microwave, give us 15 a game off the bench.
I also didn't even include him on this list because I just don't consider him a point guard. I think Dante Exum and Mike Miles are more of your ones, but maybe not even.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your true pure ones on this team are Luka and Kyrie, and that's it.
Yeah, and we know Kyrie is going to play a lot of 2 in that starting 5, obviously. And look, Exum, I think his role is going to be mostly as a defensive guy. And look,
It's funny you say that.
I love Mike Miles. Like, I went to the same college as him. He's on a 2-way, though. Like, I don't think there's an expectation for him to help run the offense, where a guy like Cam Payne can do that.
Yeah, I see Exum playing the Frank Ntilikina role, where he comes in for defense. He has that length and athleticism that the Mavs are looking for because that they've frankly lacked over the last couple of years. But Exum's not going to give you anything as far as running the team on offense. Now, he is a decent passer, but he's not going to do it at the level of, obviously, Luka and Kyrie. And I don't think the Mavs, frankly, expect Exum to play that much of a point guard. And like you said, Miles is a combo guard, and he's also a two-way guy. I'm excited for what he can do. I think he's going to play a lot for the Legends and earn his keep down there, but I think Payne is a better option as a point guard than any of these guys.
I mean, especially right now. I mean, Cam Payne, I think playing under Chris Paul really helped him just kind of find his way in the NBA. Like I said earlier, like he was very close to being exiled out of this league. I mean, he really was.
Yeah.
He was getting cut by teams. I think there was a time where he was signing 10-day deals and then just lands in Phoenix. I think surprised them by making their team and then found a way into their rotation. I mean, he was playing a lot against the Mavs a couple of years ago.
And what annoys me is back in 2020, Cam Payne was on the Texas Legends playing in Frisco in the Mavericks organization.
And that's kind of my point. Like,
they easily could have had him.
He was like almost out of the league.
Yeah.
And the Mavs obviously weren't the team to figure out what he can do, but maybe they can benefit from his skill set now. I mean, you look at other guys out there. Do any of these guys intrigue you? I know the
obviously the Luka drinking buddy,
Goran Dragic, but like I'd rather have Cam Payne.
Absolutely.
Like Cam Payne has a nice floater game. He can knock down a three, and he's going to dish the ball and not turn the ball over that much. Like he's a good backup point guard. Like I think people actually undervalue how solid he's been the last couple of years. Like,
well, and especially when Chris Paul's been hurt for the Suns, Cam Payne has stepped in there and been their starting point guard.
He's been an adequate starter.
So he has been. He's been a revelation for the Suns, and I really think the Mavs would be remiss if they didn't at least explore the possibility of signing him.
Yeah, and look, like you can find the roster spot. Markieff is on a non-guaranteed deal. Like if you really want to get him in there, you can certainly find a way if you do. And do they still have that last roster spot open, or did Morris fill it?
I think they have, but Morris is on a non-guaranteed deal.
Yeah, so bring him into camp.
Either way, they could easily do something. Exactly. I would love signing Cam Payne.
So what do you guys think? Should the Mavs sign him? Yes or no? You can type a Y for yes or an N for no. I would like to. I think Coop would like to. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to training camp.
I can feel it.
As we are just, I think, what, 2.5 weeks
2.5
here.
weeks.
So should be a lot of fun. Coop might
2
be
weeks from today, actually.
Coop might be going out there getting some.
We'll see.
Some footage. That's TBD. We're working on
September 13th. Yeah, training camp September 27th because the Mavs are going overseas.
2 weeks away. That's right. The players or teams who go overseas for some preseason games, they start a little earlier. So it's here. It's going to be fun. Don't miss any of it as we're going to have you guys covered. Okay, is Dallas still big fish hunting in the trade market? Coop, talk us through the latest on this front.
Yeah, I was reading some rumors online that the Mavs are still all in on a third star before the season begins. And I'll be honest, I just don't see it. Now, ESPN put this out a couple of weeks ago, who the next star to request a trade could be. You have the likes of Joel Embiid, Zion Williamson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. I don't think the Mavs, number one, have the assets to get any of these guys. And number two, I don't think they're not going to get Joel Embiid because they just don't have the assets for him. And the other guys like Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, don't fit the Mavs right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, like if you could buy super low on Zion, I'd be intrigued. But the rest of this list is like you're not getting Embiid, so that's you don't have enough. Trae Young's not a fit. I don't want Karl Anthony Towns. Ja's not a fit.
He's
Donovan
also
Mitchell's
not playing.
Yeah, Ja's also suspended 25 games. So I think the only one on this list that you would love to have is Embiid, but you don't have the pieces right now.
Healthy Zion intrigues me.
Yeah.
But that's really it. And you're not getting Karl Anthony Towns.
And you're only making a
on
move for
either.
Zion if you could just buy low, which, look, maybe that would be the case. But I think the Pelicans are kind of in the camp of, okay, like, if we trade him now, we're not getting nearly proper value for him, so we might as well keep him and hope it works out. So
when you just look at the Mavs' current roster, you look like, okay, who could the Mavs trade for Joel Embiid? It's the two guys that are on your screen at guard, Luka and Kyrie, are the only thing that the Sixers would even consider.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when you make a big trade like that, you need one of two things, or both, and that's several first-round picks. The Mavs do not have that. They have, one or two they can trade?
Two available to trade.
Two they can trade. That's not enough. Or if you don't have enough draft capital, you need like an emerging young all-star. And obviously you're not trading Luka or Kyrie. So, like, for example, for another team, like, say Memphis wanted to get in there. Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane.
Exactly.
That could be like a Philadelphia. I know it's on the same team, but a Tyrese Maxey. Like the Mavs
elite
don't really
young
have,
players.
Yeah, the Mavs don't have that guy. They have a absolute bona fide superstar who they would want to pair a player with, and a veteran all-star in Kyrie Irving. They don't really have like the 24-year-old like 30th best player in the league that can be a centerpiece in a deal
now,
like this.
We like to view Josh Green as a guy that can be a facilitator in a big deal like that, but he's just not at that level.
He's not a centerpiece.
He's not.
He's not. He's like the second player you throw in a trade for Joel Embiid. So that's the bottom line. Like, again, if you had 4 first-round picks, that might be different, but the Mavs do not have that. Now, basketball's around the corner. I told you guys, by the way, to bet on the Cowboys. 40-0, that was a blowout. I think you guys should be betting on the Cowboys this year. Chatsports.com/MFFL, promo code MFFL is going to get you a 125% deposit bonus. I like Dallas again this week with Aaron Rodgers out. Now, I'll be honest. If Rodgers didn't get injured, I'd probably gas the Jets.
Not the Giants.
This one, not the Giants. We've moved on from that game. But New York, it's all the same. But with Rodgers out, even though that line keeps going higher for Dallas, Coop, I don't think Zach Wilson's coming to AT&T and keeping this less than 10 points. That Cowboys defense against Zach Wilson, he's going to be seeing ghosts.
Let me gas the Cowboys on this one. I love the Cowboys here. They're going to go 2-0 against New York.
I think Dallas, look, playoffs, they have to prove it, but regular season,
oh, yeah.
They might win 13 or 14 this year, man. They're that loaded. Chatsports.com/MFFL, promo code MFFL to get that deposit bonus. Ah, yes, Coop.
He's back.
Get the hot dogs on the grill, baby.
Nerlens
Noel.
He was waived by the Kings because the Kings signed JaVale McGee, who the Mavs waived. So should the Mavs just make the swap and bring him back?
Swapping out garbage for garbage.
The quick answer is no, because Nerlens is absolutely cooked. He only played 17 games last year with Detroit and with Brooklyn. He was on a 10-day contract with the Nets. The guy just can't play anymore, man.
I'll be honest, I did not realize how cooked he was until you showed me this.
Yeah.
Because 2.5 years ago, that first Knicks playoff team before they had the bad year,
he was good on that team.
He was a legitimate, one of the best backup centers in the NBA.
And he earned himself a 3-year, $30 million contract, and he basically recouped about half the money that the Mavs wanted to pay him, and he rejected.
Yeah, he got paid, and he was like, I'm done.
I'm out.
Because he's done nothing since he got that deal.
Yeah, look. Nerlens doesn't provide an upgrade on what the Mavs have. I don't think he's better than Rashawn Holmes. I don't think he's better than Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleba, Derek Lively even. He's just not that guy anymore.
He may have to start learning Chinese, Coop, and go join Brandon Jennings.
Chinese, or go back to the University of Kentucky and get his business degree, because he is done in the NBA.
Yeah, we'll see if any teams have interest. I could see a team signing him to like a 10-day contract later in the season, because he was bouncing around those last year. But it was actually staggering looking at the numbers, how just
he's absolutely cooked.
Ineffective he is. Coop put it this way, and I hesitated, but I looked at the numbers. I was like, he's right. He's actually worse than JaVale.
Oh, it's bad.
Which is hard to believe. So if you guys want Nerlens, cool. We'll always have the hot dog memes. So kudos to that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to happen in Dallas. As much as we want to upgrade at center, he's just not that guy. So name a free agent you do want the Mavericks to sign. Let us know in the comments below. And I
had to bring it back.
Scoop. There it is.
Nerlens walking away in the Mavericks media room at the AAC with the hot dog at halftime.
We know that room all too well, Cooper.
Yes. He wasn't playing. He wanted to go get a hot dog at half to keep himself engaged in the game. He was hungry. It just wasn't a good look, man. This was actually kind of the end of Nerlens as a Mav.
Just an absolute disaster.
Disaster.
All right. The one non-disaster was him turning down that contract.
Yes, it was.
That was a disaster for him.
For him.
Not for the Mavs. All right, Coop. We'll be back later in the week. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Get the MFFLs going. We'll see you next.
See you guys soon.